Good morning, Gundam enthusiasts. This is GundamLegacyExtreme, here to do a review on the 1-144 high grade 00 Gundam 7 Swords. This is not going to be the 7 Swords G, because he doesn't have the GN gun, as well as a just little fun added bonus of showing off the 7 Sword riser configuration. So yeah, give me a couple of minutes while I get this all situated up, and we'll begin. Alright, we're back, people, and that took a couple moments because I had pieces literally flying everywhere. Apparently, and let me get this back on while I'm talking, trying to stick these pieces on after you've colored the GN drive is not such a smart idea. If you've done what I did and made sure the paint got all the way into the deeper crevices. Alright, well, anyway, you can see nothing is on him anymore. Well, that's because I wanted to go over him a little bare. Okay, I'm not going to do articulation. I've already done that twice now. Though, I'm going to quickly show off his new knee pads. These knee pads come exclusively with the GN Sword 3 version. And they don't hinder anything, they're just added bulk and added for a different weapon, which is going to be the first of the 7 swords, of the 5 new swords I'm going to go over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, the 5 new swords I'm going to go over. These, on the old one, are speculated to have been what would have been here. Now they go on the knees. These are the GN Qatars, which, as you can see, are the same really nice clear green as the GN Sword 3, which I gave to him. These open up and stick onto the hands, and stick into the hands like so. And depending on how you get them in there will be how sturdy they are in the hand. If you can get it properly centered when you stick the hand covers on, then they're fine, and they're in there really perfect. And they look really cool. If you get them down a little bit, they flop. And now to get it out of the hand, and onto the leg. And you get 2 of these. So, including the GN Sword, the GN Beam Swords on his butt, you now have 4 swords. But that's not enough. That doesn't make him 7 swords. So let me get the side skirt off this one, because as you've noticed, the side skirts are missing. I forgot to put them back on. Sword number 5. And let me get its predecessor to compare it. Introducing the GN Short Blade 2. And, oh, no, wrong one. And, like its predecessor, it's an extremely exaggerated short blade. And just for comparisons, its predecessor, the GN Short Blade. And actually, it's just a little bit, well, no. It's only because of the GN Sword 2's extension. It's a little bit longer. And like the GN Sword 2's, it can go into a beam rifle mode. Like so. But the beam rifle mode is also for another effect. This piece shoots off. It's extremely loose, unfortunately, because of that fact. You would put a piece of plastic in here, put a piece of plastic in here, and it would fly off like a... Actually, no, you just put a piece of plastic in here, put a wire in here, put a wire in that, and it would fly off. I'm not even going to do that. So now we have 5 swords, but that's still not enough. 1, 2, 4, yeah, 5 swords. Now we have 5 swords, but it's still not enough. It's not the 7 swords just yet. And I'm rubbing the gray on the feet, but it doesn't matter. My gray Gundam marker is going to be coming in. So now we need something more. we need a long sword, the GN Longsword 2, and putting it next to its predecessor. Now I can say that it's longer than its predecessor, and not be saying that because of the girth. Because here's the two blades together, from the base where the blade starts on the sword 2, to the tip where the blade ends on the sword 2. That's a long sword, and again, like its predecessor, like the GN Sword 2, it can go into a buster rifle mode, as I call it. And it has a separate handle, which can go into the other hand. Yeah, that's a buster rifle. Now that I accept as a buster rifle. And I guess you could also have him hold it underarmed for size, if you want. But I'm not going to do that. So now we got 6 swords, but it's still missing. It's still missing one more sword. I mean, it's got 6 swords, but it needs something to make it distinct from Exia's 7 swords. Maybe a giant buster sword? The GN Buster Sword 2, which is a little taller than the Gundam itself. Let me pull back. Yeah. And yes, it can hold it on its own. Let me lock its hand in. It can hold it on its own, as you can see. Unlike its master grade, unlike its 1-to-100 resin conversion kit brother, it mounts onto the GN drive just like its resin conversion kit brother. And actually, hang on, I'll push this in properly. So now we got 7 swords, and it also has one more mode where you flip this up and it can mount onto the arm. But also it does have a slight other iteration where you pull these pieces up like so, pull this down. On the resin conversion kit, it's just swiveled up, and you have 2, 4, 5, 10 GN particle emission zones. This thing will form a GN shield that is large enough to protect itself plus allies, or anything around him. And then, of course, to make up for the fact that it doesn't have the GN sword gun, I give it an 8th sword, the GN sword 3. You are getting freaking glued. Now, real quick, I'm just gonna show. Yeah, these swords get in the way of each other. Now, real quick, I'm just gonna show you the combination for the riser, for the 007 sword riser. Move that out of the way. Just the same thing you would do with every other 00 Gundam, for every other 00 riser configuration. Oh, that's why it's not going on there properly. Plug that in. And then, just because it's not going to plug in there, and it gets in the way on the arm, I plug it in upside down on here, and I just tilt that. I just pull this back, and I have the 8. That normally doesn't happen. I have the 8 sword riser. And then, of course, I just mount it onto this action base, because it does get problematic trying to stand it. But yeah, this is pretty much it in a nutshell. This is my favorite variation of the 00 Gundam, and actually my favorite variation of the 00 Riser, because with the 7 swords and the Riser kit, okay, it does get a little problematic again, like I said. It looks amazing, and it makes the 00 Riser just stand out more. Though, of course, in the canon story, it could never do this, but because I have this design for a fanfic I am writing, I can pull this off and have it work, and it looks just amazing. Alright, this is Gundam Legacy Extreme, signing off. Oh yeah, and before I forget, this was the first 00 Gundam I ever actually poured my heart and soul into painting. I put the gray on the cheeks, the gray on the feet, though I'm gonna have to redo all that when I get my gray Gundam marker. So, truthfully this time, this is Gundam Legacy Extreme, signing off. Now this is the battle. This is how the battle between Setsuna and Ribbon should have gone.